So, hi, good morning. Fine today. So, should we start? Chalo. So, I left Satvahana not in the middle but in the beginning itself. Just give me 1 minute. So, what we were discussing about that Satvahanas were lineage of the Vishwamitra. But this is sometimes this detail is considered as mythological. Then, as far as the sources of the information about the Satvahanas are concerned, so there are some inscriptions. We'll mention two of the inscription, but first of all, Puranas are one of the important source of information about the Satvahana. So in fact, when Puranas were written, majority of the Purana were written during the Gupta period, which is after Satvahan, not before Satvahan. So in the Puranas, they not only that history of the Guptas have been mentioned, but also Mauryas and so as the Satvahanas. So one of the most credible source of information about the Satvahana is the Puran only, and particularly one Puran which has mentioned majority of the details of Satvahan, that is Matsya Puran. Then apart from it, there are some inscription which talk about their lineage. So there is a one inscription which talks about their lineage, and the name of the inscription is the Nanek Ghat inscription, in which it has been mentioned that they are Brahmin lineage. Then now let's come to the detail which we mentioned last day, that they were also called as Andhras or Andhra Bhrityas, and they in fact controlled the entire Maharashtra area, touching the parts of the Gujarat, and so as the area of the Deccan, including Telangana, Amravati, Andhra, these all parts. Now, another thing that what we mentioned last day, that Semuk was the founder of this dynasty in the 1st century AD, when he has defeated the Kandavas and captured their area also. So after that, we need to mention about some of the important rulers, including Hala and Gautamiputra Satkarni. Then, so what was the last thing that you have written? Semuk tak लिख लिया था, ठीक है? एक sources of information about लिख लो. So mention that Satvahan history is mainly traced from Matsya Puran, and many of their inscriptions then further you write after it many of their inscriptions. Nanek Ghat inscriptions mentions, so I have written the spelling, you can see, mentions their Brahmin lineage. Brahmin lineage. Then mention further. They established their capital at Patan on the banks of river Godavari. Patan on the banks of river Godavari. Patan is in Maharashtra, in Aurangabad district itself. Then further, so this much what we have discussed. Then let's listen about it. So when it comes to the rulers of the Satvahan dynasty, so the very first person that we need to mention is Hala. Then, so Hala was one of the initial important ruler, not most important, but initial important ruler, and he is more remembered for his patronage towards the literature. Okay? So he wrote a very famous poetry, Gatha Saptasati. And this was written in Prakrit language. Moreover, he also promoted many art forms in Deccan area, And later on in culture, when you study about Amravati style of sculpture, so the development has started to happen from the time of the Hala. So he is known for his patronage towards the literature and the architecture. Then after, the most important ruler of this dynasty was Gautami Putra Satkarni. Gautami Putra Satkarni, and he is known for defeating the branch of Sakas. Okay? Sakas we have not studied. Abhi iske baad will be going into the Sakas. So he defeated Sakas, and moreover, there is a one inscription which is associated with his name, that is Nasik inscription. So basically, Nasik inscription mentions about his victories, and it was written on the orders of his mother, Gautami Balashri. Then, so it mentions about his victories against the Sakas, but it also mentions that Gautami Putra Satkarni was the only savior or protector of the Brahmins. Okay? So protector of the Brahmins. Then, moreover, his name itself is indicative. His name itself is indicative that this dynasty, after some point of time, it has become matrilineal. So, mother name Gautami, and he is taking the mother's name in the beginning, Gautami Putra. Then, so it is matrilineal in nature, not in the beginning, but after the middle part, they have become matrilineal. So, likho, mention that Hala, H-A-L-A, was the initial important ruler. Hala was the initial important ruler who patronized art and literature, who patronized art and literature, art and literature. Then mention. He wrote a famous love poetry in Prakrit language. A famous love poetry in Prakrit language. Gatha Sapta Sati. Gatha Sapta Sati. It's written on board. Gatha Sapta Sati. Then mention. After it, change paragraph and then you write. Gautami Putra Satkarni. Gautami Putra Satkarni was the most famous and powerful. Gautami Putra Satkarni was the most famous and powerful ruler of this dynasty. A powerful ruler of this dynasty. Then, right? His victories against the Sakas, his victory against the Sakas is mentioned in the famous the famous Nasik inscription is mentioned in the famous Nasik inscription. Then mention. This inscription further proclaims that Satkarni was the only protector of the Brahmins. Satkarni was the only protector of the Brahmins. Full stop. It was inscribed on the orders of his mother, Gautami Balashri. On the orders of his mother, Gautami Balashri. Then mention. From his name, it is noted that Satvahans have become matrilineal. Satvahans have become matrilineal. Then matrilineal. Full stop. Then you write after it. So, just give me 1 minute. So this is about the Gautami Putra Satkarni. Then the next ruler of this dynasty, important ruler, was Vasisthi Putra. Just give me 1 minute. Pulamai. Vasisthi Putra Pulamai. So it is said that he also had confrontation with the Sakas, though the Saka power was decimated by the Gautami Putra Satkarni, but then Sakas have once again risen, and then they had fight with Vasisthi Putra Pulamai. As a result, that one of the daughter of Vasisthi Putra was married to the Sak ruler Rudra Daman. Okay? So just write this much. Mention. First you write this name, Vasisthi Putra Pulamai. Then mention. During his tenure, once again, the power of the Shakas, started to rise. Power of the Shakas started to rise. In one such fight, he was defeated by Sak ruler Rudra Daman first. Done. Then mention. As a result, he married his daughter. To Rudra Daman. Done. Mention further after it. So Rudra Daman. So I think this message fine, and let's write a heading: Initiatives of Satvahanas. So in initiatives, just listen, that when it comes to Satvahan, first of all, there is something which has started from the Satvahan period, and it will be further consolidated later on during the Guptas. So what is that practice? So first of all, Satvahans were the first ruler in India who started the practice of granting land to the priestly class. Originally, it was given to the Brahmins, and the villages which were granted to the Brahmins were known as Agrahara. Okay? So Agrahara. And moreover, later on, the practice of granting land was also done to the Buddhist monks also. So not only the Hindu priestly class, but also the Buddhist monks were patronized at this time. And another thing, okay, that this is the practice which in Gupta period will lead to the consolidation of the feudalism in India. So this is the initial beginning of the feudalism, but then the consolidation in the Gupta age. Moreover, Satvahanas started patronizing the Amravati school of sculpture. Okay? So it is their initiative, and with their initiative, the white marble tradition, Jataka panel started to develop over here. But then we'll not write much about the Amravati style of sculpture. In culture, we'll be talking about it. Then Then another thing, that they were the first ruler who started to issue coins made from lead. Then, so though copper, silver, these were the popular currencies on this time, they were using copper and everything, copper, bronze, silver, but then there was one more medium of exchange, and that was the lead currency. So likho ek baar, initiatives mein very first thing you write that Satavahanas were the first rulers. Satavahanas were the first ruler of India. Were the first ruler of India who started the practice of granting land. Who started the practice of granting land to the priestly class. To the priestly class. Then, which included both Brahmins, and Buddhist monks. Done. Then second you write, mention. They patronize Amaravati school of or style of Amaravati style of sculpture. Amaravati style of sculpture. Done. Then mention. Third you write, mention. Perhaps they were the first rulers. Perhaps they were the first rulers of India. First rulers of India who started issuing lead coins for commercial transaction. Lead coins for commercial transaction. Commercial transaction. Apart from copper, silver, and bronze. Apart from copper, silver, and bronze. Copper, silver, and bronze. Then, so this is a little bit about the Satavahanas. So what we have seen, that is Sunga and Satavahanas. Kanva is just for the namesake. There was only one ruler, that is Rishi Kanva. So now let's come to the outsiders. So indigenous ruler ho gaya, and then outsiders. So outsiders mein very first is Indo-Greeks. So in post-Maurya age itself we are writing outsiders. So remember that what we wrote, that after the decline of the Mauryas, there are two types of the rulers which are emerging. One is outsider and one is indigenous. Then, so outsiders 190 BC is probable arrival of these Indo-Greeks. Then, in fact, if we talk about Alexander, so he also belongs to this area only, Indo-Greek area only. Macedonia was an Indo-Greek area only. Then, so basically Indo-Greeks are the lineage of the Macedonia, okay, or Alexander. So now what has happened at this point of time? So though they started arriving in India, and obviously they are arriving in many batches. Then, so the most important person who has arrived in India from this Indo-Greek dynasty was Menander. Right? So Menander was the most important ruler, and Menander, he captured the area lying west of River Indus, and even he came closer to the Indian Punjab also. Then he established his capital at which place? Sakala. Okay. So today's Sialkot. Then, so today's Sialkot. Then, when Menander was there in India, so he was persuaded by a Buddhist monk, Nagasen. Then, So he was persuaded by a Buddhist monk, Nagasen, to accept Buddhism. So there is a historical significance of this event that Nagasen was persuading him and Midandar asked him many questions. Then, but Nagasen gave satisfactory reply to all of the questions of the Midandar. As such, Midandar accepted Buddhism and he also took an Indian title which is known as Milind. So from here onwards, he came to be known as Milind. Moreover, this historical conversation between Nagasen and Milind is mentioned in the book Milind Panno. Okay? So Milind Panno. Now, there are other things related to this dynasty that Indo-Greeks are remembered in the Indian history for many things. So though this is the time when silver currency was quite popular, copper currency was also there from the very long time. But then Indo-Greeks were the first people who issued gold coins in India. Then, so they are the one who are issuing the gold coins in India for the very first time. And moreover, they have also introduced some new stuffs in India. So for example, that curtains. So the curtain tradition all started from theirs. Initially, curtains were not the part of the household. Okay? Curtains were the part of the theatrical tradition. It was the part of the theatrical performances. You understand theatrical performances. So drama, many of you must have seen also. Ab to bahut kam hota hai, but then those were the time that even till 2000s that it was very popular in the rural parts of India. So basically it was curtain in front of the stage and then people are coming to perform, so then the curtain is removed. So that's how the curtain tradition started in India with the arrival of the Indo-Greeks. So mention, likho, isme, so Indo-Greeks, you write, their arrival in India happened in many batches. Their arrival in India happened in many batches. Happened in many batches. From 190 BC onwards. From 190 BC onwards. Then mention from 190 BC onwards, full stop. Midandar was the most important ruler. Midandar was the most important ruler of this dynasty. Midandar was the most important ruler of this dynasty, who established his capital at Sialkot. Who established his capital at Sialkot. Also, and you write also known as Sakla. Also known as Sakla. Sakla. Then mention. लिखा है, सब कुछ बोर्ड पे लिखा हुआ है. Mention. He was persuaded by a Buddhist monk. He was persuaded by a Buddhist monk. Buddhist monk. Nagasen to accept Buddhism. He was persuaded by a Buddhist monk, Nagasen, to accept Buddhism. Done? Then mention. Midandar asked many questions. Midandar asked many questions to Nagasen. Midandar asked many questions to Nagasen. To which satisfactory reply was given by Nagasen. To which satisfactory reply was given by Nagasen. As a result, Midandar accepted Buddhism. Midandar accepted Buddhism and took the title of Milind. took the title of Milind. Mention. This historical conversation is mentioned in this historical conversation is mentioned in the text Milind Panno is mentioned in the text Milind Panno. Then Milind Panno. Then you write after it. अब पैराग्राफ चेंज करके लिखो, ठीक है? Indo-Greeks were the first people in India. Indo-Greeks were the first people in India who issued gold coins. Who issued gold coins. Who issued gold coins. Then next you write after it. They also introduced curtains in India. They also introduced curtains in India. Then mention. Originally curtains were the part of theatrical tradition. Were the part of theatrical tradition. Then mention. But later it became household thing. Later it became household thing. Done? Okay. So now you write after it. So this is about Indo-Greeks. Second you write Sakas. And Sakas are also known as Scythians. Sakas and Scythians. So as we mentioned Sakas earlier also, let's discuss about them. They are repeated time and again. So there were many branches of the Sakas. Okay? This is the one such foreigner dynasty which had 5 branches. Not all of them were in India, but then there was one branch which was there in the Kashmir. There was one branch which was there in the Gujarat, and there was one which was closer to Ujjain. Okay? So closer to Ujjain. So the most important out of these all was the western branch of the Gujarat. Okay? Then another one which was there at the Ujjain. So there is a one legend associated with the Ujjain branch. I'll tell you later on. Okay? So first of all, let's talk about the Gujarat branch. So most important was the Gujarat branch, and the most important ruler of this Gujarat branch was Rudra Daman himself, about whom we were mentioning. Okay? So Rudra Daman. Now, so what are the important aspects associated with these people, or particularly the Rudra Daman? So Rudra Daman, information about his victories and then what he has done, it all comes from an inscription known as Junagadh inscription. The speciality of the Junagadh inscription, apart from the details which is written, it is the first inscription in India which was written in the pure Sanskrit, or which is called as the chaste Sanskrit. Then, so pure Sanskrit or chaste Sanskrit. Moreover, what else is mentioned in the Junagadh inscription? In fact, this Junagadh inscription will not stop at Rudra Daman. Later on, even Guptas will also be writing in this inscription. So what all things he have mentioned? First of all, let's talk about his victories. So he has mentioned that 2 times he defeated the Satavahanas. Okay? So Vasishtha Putra Pulamai. Then, so 2 times he has defeated Satavahanas, and every time he spared their life. to respect the matrimonial alliance. Then, so this is what he has mentioned. The second thing he has mentioned is about a lake. And what is the lake? Sudarshan Lake. So originally this lake was created at the time of the Chandragupta Maurya, and it was the brother or the governor of the Chandragupta Maurya's regime in the Gujarat, Pushyagupta Maurya, who constructed this lake. But then nothing was written at that point of time when the lake was created by Pushyagupta Maurya. So it is Rudra Daman who mentioned that the lake which was created during the regime of the Chandragupta Maurya by his governor Pushyagupta Maurya was also maintained by the Rudra Daman. He did the maintenance work of this particular lake, and it was one of the most important source of the water in that particular area. So that is what he has mentioned. Later on, what has happened, that even the Gupta ruler Skanda Gupta, he will also be adding a part into it in which he will be mentioning he also repaired the Sudarshan lake. So mention Sakas. Sakas were also known as Scythians or Chhatrapas. Chhatrapas were also known as Scythians or Chhatrapas. Then mention they arrived from Indo-Bactrian area. They arrived from Indo-Bactrian area in many branches. In many branches. Then mention. So branches लिख लो कहाँ कहाँ पे थे. So these branches settled in लिखना. These branches settled in. So number 1, Kabul. Kabul. Number 2, Gandhar. 3, Kashmir. 4th, Gujarat. And 5th, Malwa. Malwa. Then mention the Gujarat branch, also known as Western Chhatrapa, was the most important. Also known as Western Chhatrapa was the most important. Then mention Rudra Daman was the most important ruler of this branch. Rudra Daman was the most important ruler of this branch. Then mention further. He is known for the very famous Junagadh inscription. आगे लिखो. It was the first inscription which was written in pure Sanskrit. Then, right? After which, in this inscription, he writes that two times he defeated सातवाहन रूलर वशिष्ठी पुत्र, सातवाहन रूलर वशिष्ठी पुत्र, वशिष्ठी पुत्र, but every time he spared his life. सातवाहन रूलर वशिष्ठी पुत्र पहले लिखा था, इसलिए मैं दोबारा स्पेलिंग नहीं लिख रहा हूं, ठीक है। But every time he spared his life, every time he spared his life to respect, to respect the matrimonial alliance, to respect the matrimonial alliance between the two kingdoms, the matrimonial alliance between the two kingdoms. Then after it you mention matrimonial alliance between the two kingdoms. He further adds Sudarshan Lake, which was created by governor of Chandragupta Maurya, Pushyagupta Maurya, was also repaired by Rudra Daman. Then, so listen. So this is what the western branch. Then there was this Malwa branch of the Sakas, and this Malwa branch of the Sakas was completely defeated and driven out of India. Then, so driven out of India by a ruler of the Ujjain. Then, and this ruler, after driving out the Malwa branch in 57 AD, he took the title of Vikramaditya. Okay? So he took the title of the Vikramaditya. And this is the beginning of the Vikram Samvat in India. So he celebrated this with starting of a Samvat. And what is Samvat? Calendar. Okay? So calendar. So this is what he started. But then now understand this Vikramaditya, the title which he has taken, with the same name, there were total 14 rulers in Indian history, meaning that 14 rulers who have taken the title of Vikramaditya. Out of the 14 Vikramadityas, the most popular was the Gupta ruler Chandragupta II, who has also taken the title of the Vikramaditya. Then, so it's a title. And what does it mean? Vikramaditya. What does it mean? Yeah? Who is Aditya? Sun. Take it. So now fine. So rise of the new sun. Take it. So this is what is there. So now, एक बार लिखो इसको, note करके लिखो. Mention that the Malwa branch of the Sakas, Sakas was defeated by a local ruler of Ujjain, who took the title of Vikramaditya. Then, so is it AD or BC? Confuse मत करो मेरे को, ठीक है? What is 57 years ahead of the Gregorian calendar? BC होगा या AD होगा? Confirm कर लो. Someone has written and then you guys have confused me. Devinder, check it, ठीक है? This will be AD or BC. It is ठीक है, he will check and then we'll write the right stuff. So एक बार इसमें और ऐड करो. इसमें what you have written last line? Vikramaditya. It also led to the beginning of Vikram Samvat. It also led to the beginning of Vikram Samvat BC. ठीक है. So right. So 57 year ahead of the Gregorian calendar, meaning कि पहले होना चाहिए. ठीक है. BC is fine. So 57 BC. हाँ लिखो. 57 AD नहीं होगा. Beginning of Vikram Samvat from 57 BC. And AD is actually 78 AD, which is Sak Samvat. अभी पढ़ाऊंगा थोड़ी देर में, ठीक है. And we'll look at the calendar also in this topic itself. So I mean census today. ठीक है. अभी 78 AD मत लिखो. We'll tell you later. Then, so now इसमें और ऐड करो. With the name of Vikramaditya, there were total. With the name of Vikramaditya, there were total 14 rulers in India. There were total 14 rulers in India. Rulers in India. Out of which the most famous was Chandragupta II. Out of which the most famous was Chandragupta II. Then Chandragupta II. Then you mention after it, of which the most famous was Chandragupta II. तो ये तो हो गया Sakas का part. So Sakas. Let's write about the Parthians also. Though they are very short-lived, but then we need to mention them for some purpose. So Parthians, they started arriving in India from 25 AD. Then, and moreover, their area is stretching from the Israel to Iran. Okay. So Israel to Iran. So from this area, they have started arriving in India. And the most important ruler of this dynasty was Gondophares. Gondophares. Then, so now it is said that during the tenure of the Gondophares, there was one Christian saint. His name was Saint Thome. So Saint Thome, he arrived in India. Then, so Saint Thome, he arrived in India just after the end of the life of the Jesus Christ. So Saint Thome was the contemporary. He was the follower of the Jesus, and then he came to India. So he was the first person who popularized the Christianity in India. Then his death happened at a place called Mailapuram in today's Tamil Nadu. His grave was also created at Mailapuram. And later on, in his memory, one of the earliest church in the world was created in India. Then, so one of the earliest church, we are not saying the earliest, one of the earliest. Then, and the name of church is Saint Thome Church, and the place is Velankanni, okay, which is very closer town to Puducherry. And this particular place is also included in many of the programs of government for the cultural places rejuvenation program, which is basically there are two programs of the government, Hriday and Prashad. Okay? So it has been included in both of it to develop it as a pilgrimage place. So mention, you write, Parthians were a short-lived dynasty in India. Parthians were short-lived dynasty in India. Short-lived dynasty in India. Who started to arrive from the area between Israel and Iran. The area between Israel and Iran. Then mention further. Gondophares Gondophares was the most important ruler of this dynasty. Gondophares was the most important ruler of this dynasty. During his tenure, the famous Christian saint, Saint Thome visited India. Saint Thome visited India for the propagation of Christianity. You're right? He died in India at a place called Mailapuram in today's Tamil Nadu. Mailapuram in today's Tamil Nadu. Full stop. Later in his memory, one of the earliest church of the world was created. At Velankanni near Puducherry. Done. So this is what is about Parthians, and the most important is the Sakas. So let's start with the Sakas. Sakani, Kushanas. So now, as far as the Kushanas are concerned, they also arrived in two branches. So they are arriving in two branches. So branch 1 came around 65 AD and the branch 2 was 78 AD. Branch 1 is called as Kadafai's branch and branch 2 is called Kanishk branch. Originally, Kushanas belonged to Central Asia. So they were, originally they did not belong to Central Asia. Originally they were Mongolians. Okay? So originally they were Mongolians, but driven by the Chinese threat, they settled in Central Asia and they made Central Asia as their home. And they belonged to one of the tribe of that time, which was known as Yuechi tribe. So the name of their tribe was Yuechi. Then they are arriving in these two branches in India. So in the beginning, as we mentioned, that Kadafai's branch was there. With the Kadafai's branch, there were two rulers. The initial ruler was Kujul Kadafais and the second ruler was Vim Kadafais. And as it is written, Kanishk branch. So Kanishk branch was named after Kanishk himself. Then, so when these rulers are there, Kujul Kadafais and Vim Kadafais, so they have released their coins at this time. And these coins were basically the silver coins in the beginning. Okay? So in the beginning, they were silver coins. And on these silver coins, there is something which is unusual. We are finding in a Western origin dynasty. And what is this? So not only on their coins, image of the king is created. But then in some of their coins, they have created on the obverse side of the coin, they have created a freestanding person. Okay? Freestanding person. And he is, just give me 1 minute. holding a trident. Then holding a trident, and moreover, the person is also accompanied by a bull. Then a bull. So this is one of the earliest example of the Lord Shiva worship. So it seems that the faith of the Central Asian was the Lord Shiva. In fact, many a times there is a place which is mentioned in many of the historical texts also, Meluha. Have you heard about it? There was a very famous novel which was named around it, but then the word was popular from the long time. So they traced their lineage from the area of the Meluha, and Meluha area is from Tibet to Central Asia. And moreover, in this entire area, there was the worship of this particular deity. So they have depicted this deity on the coins, then on one side of the coin. Then, moreover, let's come to the Kanishk branch. So Kanishk branch arrived in 78 AD, and Kanishk defeated Nadan branch of Saka. Which branch? Kashmir branch of the Shaka. So north branch of Shaka or Kashmir branch in 78 AD. And then to celebrate this victory, so it was the last branch of the Saka, because Sakas have occupied the, as you have mentioned, 5 areas. So it was the last branch of the Sakas which was defeated, and then finally what happened? There is no remnant of the Sakas in India. So to celebrate this victory, Kanishk has initiated Sak Samvat from 78 AD. Sak Samvat from 78 AD. So it is unusual that the person whom he defeated, he started the calendar with the name of the dynasty of the defeat. So now, since we are mentioning about the Samvat, and Sak and Vikram are the most popular Samvats in India, then but there are many Samvat or calendars which are popular in India. So let's have a little bit of discussion on the calendar. So now the calendar that we practice, what is the name? Gregorian. Okay? In general life, all over the world, people practice Gregorian calendar. So you can say that Gregorian is the international calendar. Then everyone follows it. But then, according to the religion, there are different calendars. So particularly in India, there are 3 calendars which are popular apart from the Gregorian. One is the Vikram Samvat, then Sak Samvat, and the Muslim calendar, Hijri calendar. Then, so these are the 3 other calendars. Out of these 3 calendars, which one is the is adopted by Government of India? Sak Samvat. Okay? So this one has been adopted by the Government of India, and the government New Year starts with the Sak Samvat. Right? So Sak Samvat, and what is the government New Year? Yes, so April. Okay? So March previous year to April next year. Okay? And that's what we call financial year in India. Then the Vikram Samvat is accepted as or taken as a Hindu calendar. So what is the basis of the creation of the calendars? On what basis they are created? Movement of celestial bodies around sun. Exactly. Okay? So calendar is a system which is created on the basis of the movement of the celestial bodies or planetary bodies, we'll say. In this regard, the most important is the planetary bodies around the sun. Then so how these calendars are different? What is the nature of the Gregorian calendar that we use in daily life? What is? So the calendars are generally on the basis of 2 things, solar and lunar. Okay? The solar calendars are those calendars which means that the number of the days in the calendar in a year will be on the basis of the movement of the earth around the sun. Then, so one complete revolution and rotation, that is the criteria. So rotation is taken for the consideration of what? Day or year? Day. Okay? Then, so rotation is for that, and revolution is taken for the year. Okay? So 365 1 by 4. Okay? So 1 by 4, this is the date which is normally taken. But then in solar calendars, the connotation in the Gregorian is that generally they will be taking this 365 and the leap year, which is 2024. Now you are in. Then, so 1 one additional day will be added after 4 year, in the 4 year, okay, in the 4th year. So it is totally the solar calendar. Then what is the Islamic calendar? What is the nature of Islamic calendar? Lunar, okay. So it is lunar calendar, meaning that it is not based on the that movement around the sun, but movement of the moon around the earth. Then so movement of the moon around the earth, but as you know that movement of the moon around the earth, basically one revolution, it happens around 27 days. Then so 27 days. So then if they are counting for 12 months in a year, so then year will have lesser number of the days from the normal calendar. So that's why in Islamic calendar, the number of days are less, and you must have, at least you must have given it a thought that kabhi Eid is in January, sometimes it is in March, sometimes it is in May also. So the date of the Eid changes, okay, as per the Gregorian calendar. But then let's come to the Hindu calendar, which is Vikram Samvat. So what is the nature of the Vikram Samvat? It follows both semi-solar, semi-lunar. This is unique calendar. So they follow both semi-solar and semi-lunar. What is solar? So as per the solar nature, the total number of the days in the Hindu calendar would be 365, 1/4. Done. But then months in the Hindu calendar, they are calculated according to the lunar movement. Then so Hindu month or Muslim month are similar. Okay? That both of them will be having the same number of the days. Then the same number of the days, which is according to the moon's movement. So now let me tell you a few things which you might be knowing but not knowing. Have you heard about the nakshatra? Nakshatra. So how many nakshatras are accepted or talked about in Hinduism? 27 nakshatra. What is the basis of the creation of the 27 nakshatra? Position of moon and the shadow which is casted on the earth. Then so when your birth chart is created, so your birth chart, something is written in your birth chart that you are born in a particular nakshatra. So this particular, actually it is the astronomical thing and astrological also, that a particular part of the sun is, moon shadow is falling on your area in particular latitude and longitude. So that is the nakshatra area. So maybe what is the nakshatra in Delhi, the same nakshatra would not be there in the Saudi Arabia. There will be a different nakshatra. So you are born in a particular nakshatra and every nakshatra has its own attribute. Then moreover, that nakshatra has a very important role in Hinduism, and according to it, your entire birth chart is created. So, for example, that there are some nakshatra which are known as Moola nakshatra. Then the people who are born in Moola nakshatra, they are Mangalik. Have you heard about it? Okay. So they are Mangalik. Then and the so if you are born in that particular Mool nakshatra, so not only you are Mangalik, but then there, I don't know that how many of you have seen the ceremony or not, but particularly in the northern India, eastern India, and central India also, there is a one ritual which is performed, which is called as Sattaisa. Sattaisa. Okay? So what is that? On the 27th day, as per the ritual, that father will be not seeing the face of the child. Only on the 27th day, he'll be seeing the face of the child. Then, so Mool Nakshatra, ऐसे तो बहुत explanations हैं, but then it is considered on one hand, it is impediment in the marriage, but otherwise the career growth of the people who are in the Mool Nakshatra is very fast as per the astrology. So this is all actually according to the position of the sun. Now, so why 27 nakshatras are there? There are 27 padav of the moon. 27 padav meaning 27 positions of the moon on the earth. So that's what is 27 days. अब problems अब समझो, तो हिंदू महीने भी हिजरी के हिसाब से हैं, ठीक है? And we are saying that की total number of the days in the year would be 365, 1/4. So how this is done? So basically what they do, that 13 days are less. Total number of the days in the Hindu calendar, if we calculate 12 month, so 352 के around आता है, ठीक है? The total calculation. Then, so it comes around 352, 13 days are left. So what they do that after every 2.5 year they add an additional month, which probably has 33 days, 31 to 33 days. And then this 13th month after 2.5 years is called as Adhik Maas. Okay? And in the normal culture or the rural culture of India, it is called as Malmas. Okay? So no such auspicious work would be done in the Malmas. Have you heard about it? या नहीं सुना है तो अपनी दादी या मम्मी से पूछना, they will be knowing it. Then so this is what is the system. So Hindu calendar follows overall, or Vikram Samvat follows overall solar calendar. जो number of days कम हो रहे हैं उसको add कर देते हैं 2.5 साल के बाद. So in the that after 2 years we can say. Then that's why in Hindu calendar, according to the Hindu calendar, and if you compare it to the Gregorian, so what was the date of Diwali this year? 12 नवंबर, 12th ऑफ नवंबर. और 2024 का दिवाली कब है? इट मस्ट बी इन अक्टूबर. ठीक है. फिर 2025 का दिवाली इट विल बी इन नवंबर. देन 2026 की दिवाली इट विल बी इन अक्टूबर. So that's why it goes little up, then comes back, goes up, comes back. So there is this bracket only in which the festivals will be falling. It is because of the semi-solar and semi-lunar nature of the calendar. I hope you got it. ठीक है. Chalo. So we'll not be writing this part, but just I wanted you to understand it. Then according to the Hindu calendar, what is the first day? Which Gregorian calendar में कौन सा date Hindu calendar का पहला दिन होता है? 21st or 22nd of March. ठीक है? Generally 21st of March, and in 1 year it will be 22nd of March. So this question has been asked in your prelims paper also. ऐसा नहीं है कि ऐसा कुछ बता रहा हूँ जो एग्जाम में नहीं पूछा गया है. And very recently, I think it was in 2017 prelims paper. ठीक है? So likho, mention what you have written. Nothing. So Sakas arrived in many branches. Sakas, sorry, nahi, Kushanas arrived in many branches. Many branches. ठीक है. The first branch came. The first branch came in 65 AD. In 65 AD, known as Kadafai's branch. Known as Kadafai's branch. Then mention the other branch of the Sakas, sorry, not Sakas, Kushanas, was Kanishk branch, which arrived in 78 AD. Which arrived in 78 AD. Then mention. Originally, Kushanas were from Mongolia. Full stop. Driven out by Chinese rulers, they settled in Central Asia. Full stop. They belonged to Yuechi tribe. Then it's written on board. You can see the spelling. Yuechi tribe. Then write. During the tenure of Kujul Kadafais and Vim Kadafais, silver coins were released. Silver coins were released On the obverse side of the coin, obverse. In coin, we don't write front and back. We write obverse and reverse. Okay? So on the obverse side of the coin, image of Kushand king was created. Image of Kushand king was created, but on the reverse side of the coin, on the reverse side of the coin, a freestanding image, holding trident, a freestanding image holding trident, along with a bull was depicted. Along with a bull was depicted. Then mention further. Along with a bull was depicted. It is indicative of worship of Lord Shiva. Worship of Lord Shiva. Then mention after it, right? Kanishk branch was the most important. Kanishk branch was the most important, which arrived in 78 AD. Which arrived in 78 AD. Kanishk defeated the Kashmir branch of the Sakas. Kanishk defeated the Kashmir branch of the Sakas. To celebrate this victory, he initiated. To celebrate this victory, he initiated Sak Samvat from 78 AD. Sak Samvat from 78 AD. Then mention. Brackets में लिख लो. It has been adopted as calendar of Government of India. Adopted as calendar of Government of India. Then, so now listen about the Kanishk. So Kanishk arrived in India, and then since soon after his arrival, so what all things are going to happen, that he has been persuaded by the Buddhist people, okay? And then who is the important personality at this time was Sumitra and Aswa Ghosh. Then, so now he convened the fourth Buddhist council. Then, so he convened the fourth Buddhist council at Kundalwan in Kashmir, and then this council led to the further clear crystal division in the Buddhism into Hinayan and Mahayana. Okay? Now, he himself accepted Mahayana faith, and this council continued for a very longer period of time, from 78 AD and more than 20 years. Then, so now this is one development. Another development is that he started to promote the Gandhar style of sculpture. Okay? So Gandhar school of sculpture. As far as Kanishk regime is concerned, there were two capitals of the Kanishk. One was the Mathura and second was the, any idea? So Purushpur, Peshawar. Okay? So Peshawar. Then it is also regarded as, this phase is also regarded as the urbanization, phase of urbanization in the northwestern India. So many cities were founded at this point of time. So for example, particularly in Kashmir. So there are two cities in Kashmir, Kanishkpur and Huvishkapur. Okay. So Kanishkpur and Huvishkapur. Huvishkapur, what you see today, that, oh, sorry, Kanishkpur, what is the Jammu town? That was the Kanishkpur. And then the Udhampur town was basically the Huvishkapur. Then, so these were the town. Then moreover, the old name of the Peshawar was the Purushpur, which was also founded by the Kanishk himself. Okay? So this is one phase of urbanization. Then when it comes to the trade and commerce of the Kanishka, it was very robust, and in fact there was a hell lot of richness which was brought to the kingdom due to the trade from the Roman world and the Chinese world. So he used the silk route which was created by the Chinese, starting from the Yunnan province of the China and going till the Venice, take it, Rome. So he used the silk route and he traded with both the areas. Another thing, that his phase is also noted for very high level of monetization, then meaning that huge amount of currencies were released, and this currencies also included large amount of the gold coins. So it is said that in the entire ancient Indian history, Kanishk coins, gold coins, were purest of the pure gold, made from completely pure 22 karat gold. Then, so more than the coins which were released by the Kanishk. So sorry, that Guptas also released that large number of the gold coins, which will be writing. But then when it comes to the quality of the Gupta coins in terms of purity, so their coins were 18 karat and Kanishk was 22 karat. So देखो gold के लिहाज से what they ask in the prelims paper, there are information. There could be one question that who released the gold coins in India for the first time. So then Kanishk would also be given in the option, Guptas would also be given in the option, Indo-Greeks will also be given in the option. So you need to be very clear in this regard. It is Indo-Greek who released the gold coins. But the second question, that who released the highest amount of the gold coins? So that would be Guptas. Okay? So Guptas released highest amount of the gold coins. And then comes who released the purest of the pure quality of the gold coins. So that is Kanishk. Okay? So likho isme. What is the last line that you have written? साग संबंधी लिखा है, ठीक है. So you write, Kanishk was persuaded by the practitioners of Buddhist faith. As such, he convened fourth Buddhist council. As such, he convened fourth Buddhist council at Kundalwan in Kashmir. At Kundalwan in Kashmir from 78 AD. From 78 AD. Then mention the final outcome of this council. Was division of Buddhism into. The final outcome of this council was division of Buddhism into two formal sects, Hinayan and Mahayan. Hinayan and Mahayan. Full stop. Then, देखो, under the guidance of Ashwaghosh, Kanishk accepted Mahayan faith. He also started to patronize art and architecture, art and architecture, full stop. During his tenure, during his tenure, Gandhar and Mathura school of art developed. Gandhar and Mathura school of art developed. School of art developed. Then paragraph change karo. Mention. His phase is also noted for urbanization in northwestern India. Urbanization in northwestern India. Full stop. The major urban centers of this time were Purushpur, Peshawar, then Kanishkpur, so today's area of Jammu, and Hovishkpur. So this is Jammu Udhampur belt, and the lastly is Mathura. Then right. Another important feature was huge monetization at this time. Huge monetization at this time. Huge monetization at this time. Full stop. Kanishk released purest of the pure quality gold coins. Kanishk released purest of the pure quality gold coins. Purest of the pure quality gold coins. Then you mention after it. He also used silk root. He also used silk root to trade with Chinese and the Roman world. To trade with Chinese and the Roman world. Then, so now this is what is about the Kanishk tenure, and Kanishk was actually followed by his son Hovishk, but then the decline of the Kushanas have started. So these are the 4 dynasties which are there, and moreover, when it comes to Guptas, so Guptas were indigenous in nature, but then it is believed that they were the courtiers of they were feudatories of the Kushanas only. Okay? So now we are going to start with the Guptas. Guptas will take little time. So today's class and one more class will be dealing with the Guptas, and then after we'll be going into the Sangam age dynasties, basically the South Indian dynasties of the Chora, Chera and Pandyas. Okay? So let's begin with the Guptas. So you write the title Gupta Empire. So it's a bigger topic, Gupta Empire. And the reason of this being bigger, because very systematic way of writing the history has also started. Okay? So Guptas made it sure that the things are compiled. Then now understand. So when it comes to the Gupta Empire, so as we mentioned that Guptas, initial Guptas were the feudatories of the Kushanas then, and the initial ruler somewhere around 250 AD was Sri Gupta then. So Sri Gupta, and then he was followed by his son Ghatotkach then. So Ghatotkach, but then it is the Chandragupta first who is regarded as the real founder of the Gupta dynasty, and then he has taken the title of the Maharaja Dhiraj. Then, so the meaning of the word Maharaja Dhiraj is the king of the kings. Okay, so king of the kings, and he has done it rightly so, because he is the one who has completely annexed the area of the northern part and the middle part of the Indo-Gangetic plain. Now the capital, what is the capital of the Guptas? Any idea? प्रयाग. सो नाउ पाटलिपुत्र, इसीलिए मैंने कल की क्लास में बोला था that Patliputra existence will come to an end. Then that Patliputra decline has started, and with the end of the Magad, there would be nowhere we are going to mention in the ancient history that Patliputra would be the capital. So Guptas originally belonged to Kaushambi. Then Kaushambi is the Prayag. Then so they originally belonged to Kaushambi, and it is the Prayag which was their capital. Then moreover, after the end of the Guptas, Kannauj will emerge as the most important center in India. So abhi ke time pe it is Prayag. So then Chandragupta first, when he has come to power, so not only militarily he has won some areas, but he is also following the policy of the matrimonial alliance. Then and still at this point of time, though the Magad decline has happened, but the Lichavis are still strong. Then so the Lichavis, once again there is a matrimonial alliance with the Lichavis, just like the Bimbisar has done. And in this matrimonial alliance, Chandragupta first has married Kumar Devi. Then so this is the first time in the Indian history that earlier we have seen that Kushanas were releasing the coins with the image of the king and then the image of the god. But then for the first time in the Indian history, it is the Guptas and particularly Chandragupta first who started the practice of minting the images, that minting the coins with the images of the queens also. Okay? So he released a special type of Kumar Devi coins in which on one side the king and the queen used to be there, and on the other side the goddess were also there. Then so this is the new tradition which has started. And which goddess? The three forms of Shakti. So what are the three forms of Shakti? Durga, so Shakti means Durga. Okay? So three forms are Parvati, Saraswati and Lakshmi. And then we'll talk about the Samudragupta. So Samudragupta is further going ahead with this depiction. Okay? So एक बार थोड़ा सा लिखो, mention Gupta Empire. So Gupta Empire में लिखो, it is believed that Guptas were originally feudatories of the Kushanas. Feudatories of the Kushanas. Then mention Sri Gupta in the middle of 3rd century AD. In the middle of 3rd century AD, founded this dynasty. In the middle of 3rd century AD, founded this dynasty. He was followed by his son Ghatotkach. He was followed by his son Ghatotkach. Done? Then इसके बाद title लिखो Chandragupta first. So mention him as the title Chandragupta first. So mention in this one. he is regarded as the real founder of the Gupta dynasty, based in Prayag, based in Prayag, based in Prayag. Then further you mention, he filled the vacuum. He filled the vacuum in North and Central India. He filled the vacuum in North and Central India after the demise of Kanishk. After the demise of Kanishk. Then mention, he took the title of Maharaja Dhiraj. He took the title of Maharaja Dhiraj, which means King of Kings. King of Kings. Then mention, he married Kumar Devi of Lichavi. Kumar Devi of Lichavi. Mention, to celebrate this marriage, special type of Kumar Devi coins were minted. Special type of Kumar Devi coins were minted. To celebrate this marriage, special type of Kumar Devi coins were minted. Full stop. For the first time in the Indian history, the coin was bearing the image of queen along with king. Image of queen along with king. Then mention, on the reverse side of the coin, the three forms of Shakti, that is Goddess Parvati, Saraswati and Lakshmi. Goddess Saraswati, Parvati and Lakshmi was created. Then mention further. Okay, so after it, so this is the thing that we need to mention in the Chandragupta second, but the most important ruler of this dynasty. So 335 AD his death has happened, and then after Samudragupta. Okay, so write a title Samudragupta. Samudragupta 335 to 375 AD. So he was the most powerful Gupta ruler. Then, and moreover, after the Ashoka, he is the one who has been given the title of Chakravarti Samrat. Okay? So Chakravarti Samrat. Now, so you know that Western world has a number of the ways to call themselves as superior. Okay? So call themselves as superior by giving some names. So for example, That abhi thodi der baad we'll be talking about the Kalidas, who was referred as the, by Western scholars, he's referred as the Shakespeare of India. And then uh, when it comes to Samudragupta, they referred as Napoleon of India. Then, so this connotation itself is giving you an impression that Napoleon was before Samudragupta, and so as the Shakespeare was before Kalidas. Okay? But then the reality is that you all know Napoleon is in 1800 and Shakespeare is also in the medieval centuries. Then, so this itself is a misnomer, that it is better to call Shakespeare as the Kalidas of the Western world and Napoleon as the Samudragupta of the Western world, rather than calling them as this. Then, but then this is how the early historians, which historians? 1950s. Then, and in 1950s, which kind of historians were there? Leftist historians. Okay? So leftist historians, that they followed that what can please British. Okay? What can make them more English. Then, so anyways, so this is what happened, that Chakravarti Samrat of India. And why he's called as Chakravarti Samrat? Because out of all the Guptas, he was the one who was controlling the maximum area. Then that it is said that even he has been victorious in the southern kingdoms, but then he did not ruled over there, just defeated them and then established his supremacy. So now about him, there are many things to talk, but first of all, we'll start with his court poet Hari Sen. So Hari Sen was the court poet of the Samudragupta, who wrote Prayag Prasasti. Prayag Prasasti. And what is this Prayag Prasasti? Eulogization of the Samudragupta. What is eulogization? Praising somebody, okay, in excess. Then, so praising somebody in excess. So now, what he has mentioned. So he said that Samudragupta, that he won more than 100 battles and he was never defeated. Then, so he was never defeated, and moreover, he has further mentioned the poetic attributes of the Samudragupta. So Samudragupta was a prolific poet, then, and he was also a prolific musicians. So these all praises are showered on the Samudragupta in Prayag Prasasti. But then, now, so if they ask you, okay, a question, just give me 1 minute. So question is that Prayag is Allahabad. Then, so if I write a question, Allahabad pillar is associated with so number 1, Samudragupta. Number 2, Ashoka. And number 3, Akbar. Number 4, Aurangzeb. What will be the answer? This question has been asked already in the prelims. बहुत पहले, जब तुम लोग का birth हुआ था तब. So, बताओ. Ashoka. And? What you said? चारों होगा. वैसे मतलब the logic you are right कि होना चाहिए सारे में से, except Samudragupta and except Aurangzeb, it is Ashoka and Akbar. ठीक है? So it is Ashokan. Whenever, अब ध्यान ये रखना है कि whenever they will be writing a pillar in the paper, prelims paper, so pillar belongs to Ashoka. Pillar tradition was started by Ashoka. Akbar further added in that particular inscription. ठीक है? So in Allahabad inscription, in fact, the name Allahabad was given by Akbar himself. ठीक है? So basically something was added into it. So this is bearing two things, Ashoka inscription and then this one. But whenever the question would be asked about the Samudragupta, so Samudragupta would be always Prayag Prasasti. Nowhere it will be written Allahabad. Okay? And I'll tell you that the naming thing of the Prayag. Okay? So why this particular place was called as Prayag? Is it the confluence of the rivers, which is called as Prayag? So confluence of the river is called as Sangam, not Prayag. Okay? So, but then Sangam has a role in the Prayag. So this area was regarded as one of the most sacred places. In fact, in the Vedic times, as we mentioned, that why Saraswati is regarded as the most sacred river, because majority of the Vedic compositions happened on the Saraswati. Then, so now that river is further believed that it has a course in the Prayag also. So three rivers, Sangam, Ganga and Yamuna, so as the Saraswati. Okay? And moreover, that since the association of the Saraswati happened with this particular area, so this area in the early, or sorry, in the middle ancient ages, it became the place of the, I'll write in Devanagari, Prayah Yagya. So this is what is the original name of the place. Prayah Yagya, meaning the place which was chosen for performance of all the yajna. Yajna, what is yajna? Yagya. So all the yajna. So it was originally Prayah Yagya done, and then this is a Tatsam Bhava, and from Tatsam it became Tadbhav. So Tadbhav became Prayag. Okay? So that is the originally naming of this area. लिखो इसमें mention Samudragupta is regarded as second Chakravarti Samrat of India. Second Chakravarti Samrat of India. Then mention after it second Chakravarti Samrat of India. His court poet Hari Sen, wrote Prayag Prasasti. His court poet Hari Sen wrote Prayag Prasasti. Then mention in which he highly eulogized. I'll write Samudragupta. He highly eulogized Samudragupta. Full stop. Then mention further. He wrote Samudragupta won more than 100 battles. Samudragupta won more than 100 battles, and he was never defeated. Then you write. It further adds Samudragupta was a prolific poet and musician. So now listen, there are some other details associated with the life of the Samudragupta. So he was a firm believer of the Hinduism, and as far as the Guptas are concerned, so they were regarded as the class of the Vaishyas. Then, so he was firm believer of the Hinduism, and moreover, he performed 2 Ashwamedh Yajna also. Then, but then at the same point of time, it is regarded as that Samudragupta was very generous and accommodative. Then, so he was highly generous and accommodative. According to the Chinese records, then it is said that there was one Sri Lankan ruler whose name was Meghvarman, who wanted to create a Buddhist monastery in Bodh Gaya. Samudragupta not only provided him area in the Bodh Gaya, but also funded the creation of the Buddhist monastery. Then, so there was no intolerance at this point of time in the society, despite they having a deep faith in the Hinduism, accommodation towards the other faiths were also there. Then moreover, Samudragupta many a time in his coins, so how he has been depicted, some of the excellent quality of the gold coins were released at his time, and in his gold coins he was often depicted playing a musical instrument, veena. Veena. But then he also started a new tradition of minting the coins, whereby the depiction of the that depiction of the Durga on the lion was also there, which was called as, these type of coins were called as Simha Vahini. Okay? So Simha Vahini, and from here onwards, what we see today, in today's time, the depiction of the goddess Durga on the lion, that traces its lineage from the, or that its origin from the Samudragupta's time. So likho isme that last time that पहले paragraph change करो and you write Samudragupta was deep believer of Hinduism, and performed two Ashwamedh Yajnas. Then mention further two Ashwamedh Yajnas. He was also very generous and accommodative. Full stop. Then mention generous and accommodative. According to the Chinese records, he funded, supported Sri Lankan ruler. Meghvarman. To create a Buddhist monastery in Bodh Gaya. Then Buddhist monastery in Bodh Gaya. Full stop. उसके बाद लिखो after it paragraph change करके लिखना. During his tenure, excellent quality gold coins were released. Then mention in some of the coins, Samudragupta was depicted playing a musical instrument, veena. Then, Acha, can you tell me that which god is particularly associated with the veena? Who? Saraswati. God, I asked, not goddess. पूरा सुनते ही नहीं हो तुम लोग. I didn't ask goddess. ठीक है? Yes? Narad. He's a semi-god, not. Lord Shiva. And the concept starts from the Rudra Veena. Okay? So Rudra Veena, so it is said that there are two aspects of the Lord Shiva. One is the music of the destruction, and one is his dance of the destruction. So dance is the Nataraj. Okay? And then the music is the Rudra Veena. So he is the god of this musical, and it has a mythological aspect. Then the goddess Saraswati is also considered as she is the goddess of this particular musical instrument. Okay? Then आगे लिखो इसमें Samudragupta further started further started. The tradition of creating Simha Vahini, Durga on coin. Simha Vahini, कहीं तो लिखा था मैंने. Just wait. चलो, I'm right. Simha Vahini Durga on coin. And brackets में लिख सकते हो Goddess Durga on lion. ठीक है. So this is what is about the Samudragupta's tenure. So after the Samudragupta is the Chandragupta, then Kumaragupta, and then is the Skandagupta. So these 5 rulers, एक बार समझ लो that in this topic how we are going to proceed. So after this, we'll be following the Vedic time wala feature. ठीक है. So economy, polity, society, and religion. चलो, so break के बाद मिलते हैं. So listen. So after this, Samudragupta, the next important ruler was the Chandragupta II. Then Chandragupta II, his timeline was from 385 to 415. So now in the middle, as you can see the timeline of Samudragupta, so that was till 75. 10 years beach mein, ठीक है? So who is there in these 10 years? So now listen, this is the time when one of the son of the Samudragupta, whose name was Ramagupta, was the ruler. So Ramagupta was the ruler, and the story which I am going to mention, it is mentioned in the book Devi Chandraguptam, then which is written by Vishakhadat. So last time we mentioned in the Mudra Rakshas. So Mudra Rakshas was the details of the fight between Nanda and Maurya, and here it is the detail of the biography of the Chandragupta II. So in Devi Chandragupta Vishakhadat, what he has mentioned. So the tenure of the Ramagupta, the tenure from 375 to 85, is a blot on the Gupta history, and they don't take it in a good regard. In fact, it was maintained that Ramagupta's tenure would not be mentioned in the Gupta history, in the Gupta records. So there are only few sources which mentioned about the Ramagupta. So what is the reason that why he is not taken in good regard in the Gupta history? The reason is Ramagupta was a coward. Then he was a coward, and then that is the time when there was one attack of the Shakas. Okay, which Shakas? The western branch of the Shakas. Okay, so western branch of the Shakas, Rudradaman branch, and uske baad Rudradaman is not the ruler, but then others are there. And the attack was totally targeted to capture the beautiful wife of the Ramagupta, and the name of the beautiful wife was the Dhruva Swamini. So she was considered as the most divine beauty of that time, and moreover, Ramagupta was captured, he was kidnapped, he was taken into the captivity, and then there was only one release thing. There's only one demand for his release, and that is he will have to give Dhruva Swamini to them, and he will be released. So he agreed for it that he will give Dhruva Swamini to them rather than fighting. So when this news has reached to the younger brother Chandragupta II, so he felt bad about it, and then he has decided that it will not happen, and then a fight will ensure that if Dhruva Swamini, the fight will ensure that what will be the discourse in the history. In the fight, he defeated the Sakas, and then after, he also killed his brother. Right? So he defeated the Sakas, he also killed his brother, and he himself married Dhruva Swamini. Okay? But now understand, is it that when you see from the perspective of the Dhruva Swamini, that did Ramagupta deserve that lady? He did not deserve. So she deserved somebody who is courageous, who is bold, who can protect her, then who can protect her dignity, most important. Then, so this is how that Chandragupta II has come to the picture. And then after, in this victory, in 385, he had taken the title of the Vikramaditya. Okay? So he has also taken the title of Vikramaditya. Moreover, just to maintain the control of the Gupta Empire in the Western world also, he created the second capital of the Guptas, and from here onwards, Ujjain is going to become one of the most important center of the Guptas. Okay? So not only Prayag was the capital, but so as the Ujjain also became their capital. Then, when it comes to Chandragupta II, so he is regarded as the most enlightened ruler of the Gupta history. Then he is not discussed on from the point of the military annexation, but from the development that he has initiated in the Gupta Empire. In fact, his age is also known as Golden Age of Art and Architecture. Apart from it, he maintained several luminaries in his court. So, for example, that when in medieval history, when we talk about the Akbar, so Akbar maintained Navaratna in his court. Then, but originally the tradition was started by the Chandragupta II. Okay? So, who were the Navaratna in the Chandragupta's time? So, the very famous poet, dramatist, okay, Kalidas. Then Sanskrit lexicographer Amar Simha. Then Vara Meher, who was an astronomer, astrologer. Dhanvantari, who was a big name in the field of the medicine. And then so as the Vararuchi, who was a big name in the field of the economics. Okay? So statecraft, economics, public administration. So these all were the important luminaries in his code. Then apart from it, that he was also very intelligent, and moreover, rather than going ahead with the policy of the military annexation, he is also following matrimonial alliance. Then, so what he did, that he married a lady from the northeast India, Kuber Naga, and further expanded the Gupta Empire in the northeastern part of India. Then he gave the hand of his daughter Prabhavati to the Vakatak ruler of Maharashtra, Rudra Sen. Then now, after this marriage, what has happened? After some point of time, the marriage is consummated, and then death of the Rudrasen happened. So when the death of Rudrasen happened, Prabhavati became the ruler, but then she was working under the guidance of the Chandragupta II. So that's how the Gupta rule was indirectly extended to the entire Maharashtra also. Mention, right? He defeated western branch of Sakas. He defeated western branch of Sakas and took the title of Vikramaditya and took the title of Vikramaditya. Then mention. He created second capital of Guptas. He created second capital of Guptas at Ujjain. Second capital of Guptas at Ujjain. Then mention. He is regarded as the most enlightened ruler of Gupta history. Most enlightened ruler of Gupta history. Then mention. During his tenure, there was holistic development. During his tenure, there was holistic development in the field of art, architecture, religious literature, Sanskrit literature, astrology, astronomy, mathematics, medicine, etc. Then Then you write, his age is also regarded as, his age is also regarded as golden age of art and architecture. Golden age of art and architecture. Done? Then mention. He maintained 9 luminaries in his court. He maintained 9 luminaries in his court, known as Navratna. Known as Navratna. Which included the names like, Kalidas, Amar Simha, Vara Ruchi, Vara Meher, and Dhanvantari. And Dhanvantari. Vara Meher and Dhanvantari. That mention. He also followed the policy of matrimonial alliance. He also followed the policy of matrimonial alliance, whereby he married Kuber Naga, from northeast, and gave hand of his daughter Prabhavati, to Vakatak ruler Rudrasen. Hand of his daughter Prabhavati to Vakatak ruler Rudrasen. Done? After the death of Rudrasen, Vakatak area was administered under the guidance of Chandragupta first. Chandragupta second. Then, so next information now understand. So during his tenure, this Chinese Buddhist traveler, whose name is Fahian, okay? So Fahian, he visited India. Then, so he visited India, or he visited Gupta's court, and then he wrote his experiences about the Gupta's age in his book Fukuoki. So in his book Fukuoki. And moreover, when we talk about the society of the Guptas, so some of the information we are writing on the basis of the Fahian's book Fukuoki. Then this is the time that when Fahian is still there, and then after the death of the Chandragupta II, his son Kumar Gupta, he will be coming to the power. Then, so Kumar Gupta is inspired from the Fahian. And then after he will led the foundation of Nalanda University. Okay? So he will lead the foundation of Nalanda University, which is regarded as a modern university. Okay? So we have a discussion around the Nalanda University, a question which was asked in the mains paper. Okay? So एक बार लिखो that During his tenure, Chinese Buddhist traveler, during his tenure, Chinese Buddhist traveler Fahian visited India. Fahian visited India. Then mention. He wrote his experiences about Gupta's court. He wrote his experiences about Gupta's court in his book. Fukuoki. In his book, Fukuoki. Done? Fukuoki. Then you mention. Chandragupta II was succeeded by his son Kumar Gupta. Who laid the foundation of Nalanda University. Regarded as the first modern university of India. Regarded as the first modern university of India. Then, so now listen to the question itself over here itself, that what was the question which was asked in the mains paper. So actually the question was in comparison with the Takshashila, okay? And what it said. So Takshashila, with which many famous personalities were associated. Then it was known for its strategic location, which caused its fame. But as compared to Nalanda, it is not regarded as a modern university. Okay? So it is not regarded as a modern university is discussed. Then, so now the question which was asked, अब questions के part देखो that what they have mentioned. Takshashila, with which large number of the famous personalities were associated. Then, so first thing that they are making a statement, a large number of the famous personalities were associated. Its strategic location caused its fame. So second statement is that strategic location. But then what is the question? Are they asking that you need to write the famous personality or strategic location? What they're asking, but as compared to Nalanda, it is not considered as modern in sense. Okay? So now discuss. So why it is not a modern university? This is the question. Question lamba hai, essay ki tarah, okay? But then the question is just that why Nalanda is modern and Takshashila is not modern. Even if you don't know that who are the famous personalities, that was actually not asked in the question. Strategic location भी पूछा नहीं है, already वो बता रहा है. Okay? They themselves are telling that its strategic location caused its fame. So now let's talk about this question. And this was a difficult question. There was no doubt about it. And even the people were, when this came in the exam, so people were scratching their head. I remember that the rank one of that time said that she said that I was dreaded with the very first paper itself. The culture questions which were there in the paper, I felt that this year is difficult for me, and this year is difficult for me that I may not be able to get a call for the interviews also. I left 4 culture questions. Okay? She actually left in the paper. But then after, her comfort zone was geography. And geography also, good number of the questions were there. So she secured good in the geography. But luck would not always be there on your side when the paper is like this. So now understand that in these type of question, that there would be difficult questions in the paper, but don't lose hope. Then you always have a ways to write the answer. But now it has become very quite popular. People have copied that what is the way of writing. So now understand that the simple thing that the way you can write this, focus on the word modern university. Then so focus on the word modern university and write the traits of the modern university, even if you haven't studied. Okay? That you just know that what is modern university, and then write the traits of the modern university on one side. Say that it is these features were there in the Nalanda, and on the other side, even if you don't know what existed in the Takshashila, just say these features were not there in the Takshashila. Okay? So now, but I'll tell you the answer itself. So first of all, famous personalities बात कर लेते हैं, ठीक है? You already have studied who was the famous personality, Chanakya, ठीक है? If you want to beat around the bush, so you can write some names. Then so Chanakya. Then when we talk about the Kanishka, so Kanishka period, then Kanishka, where is his area? In the northwestern India. Takshila was in the northwestern area. So you can further mention the Buddhist monks Vasumitra and Ashwaghos. They were intellectuals also. Okay? So as later on, when culture topic bhi khatam ho jayega, so you'll get to know about the many names. Nagarjun, okay, who was known for the metallurgy. He was also from this area. But the most famous personalities from the Takshashila University, apart from the Chanakya, were Shushrut and Charak. Okay? So Shushrut and Charak. Charak Samhita, have you heard about it? Then, so Charak was also from the Takshashila, so is the Shushrut, who is regarded as the father of the surgery. Then come to the next part, strategic location. So strategic location, it was on the way of the Silk Route. That's why it was connected with the different parts of the world. So the popularity of this particular Takshashila was reaching to the other areas. But let's focus on the word modern university, which is Nalanda. Then, so even if you don't know that what existed in the Nalanda, but then you know what is modern university. You all have studied from modern universities. We all have studied from modern universities or colleges. So now, what traits, okay, on a rational basis, you will be keep in mind that ancient times, or ab apne dimag mein rakho that what are the important things in your universities. Then, so first of all, that every modern university has a well-established system of physical infrastructure. Physical infrastructure. So what is physical infrastructure? Classrooms. Classrooms, then, so library, hostel. Okay? Hostels. So classroom, library and hostels. These all are there. Okay? किसी भी college या university में होता है, लिख दो. ठीक है? That Nalanda has a well-established system of the well-established physical infrastructure. They had classrooms, they had the libraries, and so as the residences also, student residences also, or the hostels. Then apart from it, there is another thing which is called as course infrastructure. Course infra. And what is course infra in modern university? So if you are in BA first year, okay, or any such thing, okay, BA first year, or that you are doing the engineering, okay, so Bachelor of Engineering, whatever. In any of the years, you have a predefined syllabus. It's not like कि कहीं से भी कुछ भी पूछ देंगे. UPSC exam थोड़ी है college, ठीक है? So predefined syllabus. Then, so predefined syllabus is there. You need to be kind of studying the predefined syllabus. On the basis of it, regular exam, then, and on the basis of exam, promotion to next grade. Promotion to next grade. Then, so this would be the feature. But then in the modern university, there is a system of the prefixed fee also. Prefixed fee. So you need to pay the prefixed fee also. Is it like this? Okay? कम हो या ज़्यादा हो, but पहले से तो decided है ना कि what is there? Annual fee or semester fee. ठीक है? So prefixed fee. Now, so these traits of modern university you can replicate in the Takshashila. अब किसी क्लास में मैं बता रहा था, किसी ने बोला कि सर मॉडर्न यूनिवर्सिटी में प्रेसिडेंशियल इलेक्शंस भी होते हैं, ठीक है? तो वो भी लिख दे क्या? तो कहीं कहीं अपना दिमाग भी लगाना है that you are keeping in your mind ancient, ठीक है? तो उस कॉन्टेक्स्ट के हिसाब से जाओ. राजा के लिए तो इलेक्शन होता नहीं था, तो यूनिवर्सिटी में इलेक्शन होना है. Then, so these things seems to be that it can go into that. ठीक है? It is rational. Now, what was there in the Takshashila? So Takshashila was basically the entire area was university. There was no physical infrastructure. ठीक है? ना तो dedicated classrooms थे, ना libraries थे, ना hostels थे. ठीक है? So in place of this, Takshashila didn't had a physical infrastructure, but Takshashila operated on the principles of Guru Shishya Parampara, and moreover जो पहले पढ़ा है इसके पहले आश्रम व्यवस्था, ठीक है, ashram vyavastha. So it was following the ashram vyavastha in which in the stage of the brahmacharya in Guru Shishya Parampara education was imparted. Then अगर जो कुछ भी नहीं याद आ रहा है तो you just take some examples from the Mahabharata or mythology, ठीक है. So in Mahabharata you have seen that the students are going to the ashram of the Dronacharya, ठीक है. Their study is happening in the ashram and his ashram is also his house. The Guru's ashram is also his house, ठीक है. So education is imparted in the house of the Guru, not a dedicated classroom is there. You getting it? Then, so after this, was there any predefined syllabus or regular exam or promotion to the next grade? No. So in the ashram vyavastha, it is the Guru who identifies that who is better in what. Then, so Guru identifies. देखो बहुत बार क्या होता है कल्चर के क्वेश्चन में that you just need to open your mind. If you're not getting answered, so just go into the mythology. कोई भी story, रामायण, महाभारत या ऐसे कुछ करके सोच लो, and then you automatically, your mind will suggest you that what will go into it. So then, for example, that in Mahabharata itself you have seen that all of them, were they performing in the same stream? No. They were choosing the different disciplines, ठीक है? So the one who was good in the archery, ठीक है, was Arjun. The one who was good in the mace fight was Bhim and Duryodhan, both, ठीक है, Bhim and Duryodhan, and then one who was good in the bhala, ठीक है, javelin. So Yudhishthir. So similarly, so in the different disciplines they were trained. So it is Guru who is identifying that who is good in what, and accordingly they are trained in that. So that is one thing. So there is no predefined syllabus कि सब लोग वही पढ़ रहे हैं, ठीक है. And then after there is no such regular exam नहीं है, ठीक है. Guru upon his satisfaction, that it is when Guru feels that you have received enough education, so then what he does, that he will release you from the ashram. And when he is releasing from the ashram, so will he be demanding कि अब हो गया 2 लाख रुपए दे दो, ठीक है. So he'll not be asking this thing. So what he'll be asking? Guru Dakshina. He'll not be asking, you will be giving Guru Dakshina. So is Guru Dakshina predefined? हाँ, so it is as per the wishes of the disciples, नहीं क्या? Disciples कि जितनी जिसकी मतलब हाँ वो word नहीं use करूँगा, खैर politicians use करते हैं औकात, ठीक है? So जिसकी जितनी सामर्थ्य, ठीक है, जिसकी जितनी हाँ सामर्थ्य उस हिसाब से people are giving the दक्षिणा, ठीक है. So if somebody has a hell lot of money, they can give more. वही लोग सबसे कम देते हैं वैसे तो. Or the people who have less, so they will be giving this way. So Takshashila was like, ठीक है, it was not a university, but it was like Kota, today's Kota. पूरा कोटा ही एक कोचिंग इंडस्ट्री है, you all know, ठीक है. So there is a kind of a education industry over there. So Takshashila town was like a education industry where घर घर में guru are there and guru shishya education system is happening. So this is the difference between the two, and this is what you needed to write. So बहुत बार, n number of the time these type of questions will be coming, but that's just remember one word. You just memorize that no matter how difficult they are asking, you have some part of the answer, and automatically with this belief itself you'll be able to write. दिमाग बहुत strong instrument है. It's a very strong faculty. It will suggest you if you are in a positive mood. So then it will suggest you the good things. And reality is this, that if you are in a positive mood, if you are that happy and jolly nature, so your paper will go well. But if you are so stressed, your paper will reflect your stress. Then your writing, your language, everything will be reflecting your stress. So your paper itself, mains paper is particularly your state of mind. It is a reflection of your state of mind. So make yourself in that way, that so that good things are getting reflected. So this is the question which was asked, and you could have gone in this direction to write the question. अभी एक और question है जो mains में I think it was in 2018. It was asked from the Gupta period. ठीक है? So that was related to the numismatic art. Basically, coin art of the Guptas. So we'll discuss once we are going to discuss the economy during the Gupta age. Okay. So mention, what is the last thing that you have written? Modern university. ठीक है, तो इसी में ऐड कर लो, नालंदा had a well established physical infrastructure. Nalanda had a well established physical infrastructure like classrooms, library and hostels. Classroom, libraries and hostels. Then mention, moreover, it also followed a well-defined course infrastructure. Well-defined course infrastructure. Then, so listen, sir, modern university would also have educate facility for the sports or different extracurricular with respect to Nalanda as well. So sports, see, it is you to decide that what you'll be writing or not, and keep the ancient things in the context. So obviously sports to dono jagah likh sakte ho. It was there in the Takshashila also, and it will be there over here also. In fact, in Mahabharata you have seen that many such sports were organized. अब ये नहीं कि क्रिकेट खेलते थे वो लोग. Their version must be लंबदंड धरपकड़ प्रतियोगिता, ठीक है? So you have heard about it. So that might have been different games then, but then that would be there at both the places. So इसको include नहीं करेंगे, ठीक है? थोड़ी अपनी दिमाग भी तो लगानी है ना कि क्या इसमें applicable होगा, क्या नहीं होगा. So mention further, what you have written? Course infrastructure, ठीक है? Then Nalanda Library was one of the largest in the world. Nalanda Library was one of the largest in the world. And at its peak in 11th century AD, it had more than 5 lakh books. At its peak in 11th century AD, it had more than 5 lakh books. Okay. Then, so next you write after this, the last ruler, and next class may will be starting with their economy and every other thing. So you write Skandagupta. So Skandagupta. So now listen, when it comes to Skandagupta, so he was the last important ruler of the Guptas. Then, moreover, during his tenure, the outside threat has started. And who are bringing this threat? So they are known as Hunas. Okay? Hunas were, once again, they are coming from the Indo-Bactria area, and they were a barbaric tribe. So we are mentioning barbaric word because wherever they went, they not just looted, but then they were known for the barbarism. Okay? You all understand that, what is barbarism. So initially when Skandagupta was the Gupta ruler, so he thoroughly defeated them and then he met their challenge. So till his lifetime, it was all fine. But after his death, there will be resurgence of the Hunas. So that is first part. Then Skandagupta further added in Junagadh inscription. And what he added, so in Junagadh inscription, he is adding that he also repaired Sudarshan Lake. So now, अब वापस एक बार देखते हैं कि what all things were there in the Junagadh inscription. So very first part is related to Rudradaman victories, ठीक है, against the Satkarnis, ठीक है, so Vasisti, so against the Satvahanas. And then after he has mentioned about the construction of the Sudarshan Lake by Pushyagupta Maurya. And third part is his reconstruction, or basically repairment of the Sudarshan Lake. And Skandagupta finally added that he also repaired it. So mention, you write, Skandagupta was the last important Gupta ruler. Skandagupta was the last important Gupta ruler. Then mention, during his tenure, a barbaric tribe, Hunas, during his tenure, a barbaric tribe, Hunas, started the invasion of Gupta territory. Started the invasion of Gupta territories. But this challenge was effectively met by Skandagupta. And he removed threat of Hunas. Then threat of Hunas. Then you write after it, he also added in Junagadh inscription. That he repaired Sudarshan Lake. Done? Then mention. So now just listen. So after his death happened in 467. Okay? So after 467, the Gupta's decline started, or weakness was that weak rulers followed after him. And once again, the Hunas, they regrouped their energies, and then they restarted the campaign of the Gupta territory. But then Huna's reorganization was under the leadership of two, Mihirkul and Toraman and Mihirkul. So these were the two new leaders of the Hunas, and now they thoroughly looted Gupta territory. Okay? So thoroughly looted Gupta territory. In fact, the gold coins, which we are further going to mention later times in their economy, they looted huge amount of the gold from the Gupta area. Even the gold minting machines were also taken away by them. Okay? So taken away by them. And the decline, irreversible decline of the Guptas will start from this time. 550 AD was the last Gupta ruler, and then after, complete demise of the Guptas has happened. So mention, isme likho, after the death of Skandagupta, Hunas restarted invading Gupta territory. Under the leadership of Toraman and Mihirkul. Mihirkul, full stop. They thoroughly looted Gupta cities. And took their important possessions like gold coins and gold minting machines. gold minting machines. Full stop. Then you write, it led to irreversible decline of Guptas. It led to irreversible decline of Guptas. And by 550 ADs, they completely disappeared. By 550 AD, Gupta rule completely disappeared. Likhna. Gupta rule completely disappeared. Gupta rule completely disappeared. So this is what is about this particular part. Okay. So what topics we are going to see, that their economy, their polity, their administration, and so as their society and religion. Okay. So these topics we'll be doing in the next class, in the next week. Okay. So I think this was the last class in this week. Okay. Chalo. So now you can take leave. We'll start with the rest of the portion in next week.